Hello and welcome back, artists and designers. In this video I want to talk about how we can level up our robot and add some shading, highlight, shadows, and make this look a little bit more interesting. So at this point I should have my whole robot pretty much constructed and built here, and I'm going to go ahead over to layers, and this is a great opportunity to duplicate your original layer just so that you have that backup copy. So I can select that layer, I can go ahead and hit duplicate robot, and I now have a backup copy in case, I do something stupid in this next step and I can't really go back. So I'm going to go to my copy here, and I want to show you a couple different ways to deal with this. I just have this circle kind of floating over here so that I can kind of show you one of the ways you can do this with any of the parts on your robot. So I'm going to go ahead and take this circle. I'm going to hold the Alt key and I'm going to duplicate it so they get a copy. And let's say I want to have a shadow on the lower portion of that. So I'm going to click and drag it up, and just so that we can see the difference between these two, highlight and zoom in there, you can see kind of where they overlap. So at this point I'm going to go ahead and take my shape builder, which is right here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm only going to click on the part that I want to be the shadow, which is this lower part of the circle. So I'm going to click once, and now I'm done. I'm going to go ahead and take the original, that shape that I made, and delete that. And now I've separated this circle into two parts. Okay, and I can take this lower half and I can make that a darker value. I'm going to show you one more trick here. When you want to make a dark tone of this color, rather than just double clicking and trying to go in here and randomly pick it, we're going to go up to the color guide right here. If you don't see the color guide, that's under window. Go down to color guide and get that thing to pop up right here. And as long as you have your fill color selected, that's going to put your fill color right here. And if we move this way, we're going to get dark values. And if we move this way, we're going to highlight values. So I'm going to take this color and move maybe one step, and let's see what that looks like. That looks pretty good. If I go 2 steps, it's going to make it even a little bit darker. I like just 1 step away. I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and take that, and I'm going to try that over on my robot here somewhere. So let's take this area right here and let's try to create a little bit of a shadow, maybe on the lower portion of it right here, or a highlight, either way. So I'm going to take this shape, I'm going to hold Alt, and I'm going to click and drag up maybe a little bit this direction. Okay, now I need to hold Shift, select the other piece, and this is the part that I want right here, this little sliver, and I want to make that a little bit darker or brighter. I'll really leave that up to you. So Shape Builder, click on the part you want. It's going to slice that out, and now we're going to click back on the shape that we used to move, hit delete, and now have 2 separate parts. Move that back in here. I can click on the color guide, and up here, if I want to make that lighter, I could add that highlight, or I could add a little shadow to it. Maybe that's too dark, and do something like that. And now I've added a little bit of 3-dimensional quality. You can do that anywhere you like in the robot. Let's do that on the helmet. Let's take the Alt key, drag that down a little bit. I get the 2 areas here that I want. I'm going to make this a highlight area, so I'm going to select both. Shape Build, click on the highlight that I want. Go back, delete the original shape, get that out of here. I'm going to click on the new part that I want, and I'm going to click on a slightly lighter value right here, maybe all the way up to here. And I have now added a little bit of a highlight on the top of my robot. So that's one way you can use the Shape Builder to go through and create different highlights and shadows on your project. While I'm in this video, I'm going to show you one other additional way to do it, which is a new tool, and that's the knife tool. So the knife tool is right here. It's hiding under the eraser. So if you see the eraser, we're going to click the knife tool. I'm going to show you how this tool works. If I take that same circle, okay, that I had before, so let's go ahead and make that same circle. There it is. Zoom in on that. And let's do this with the knife tool. The way the knife tool works is you have to have your shape selected that you want to cut with, and only the shape that you want to cut with selected. And let's say I want to put that same shadow down here. You have to start outside of your shape. I'm going to drag this along here, and it's going to slice that up and separate that into 2 parts. So I I have this lower piece. I've done basically the same thing as Shape Builder, and I could do the same thing to the upper portion. If I wanted to add a highlight, knife tool, let's say I wanted a highlight up here. I could slice that up, and now I have highlight. I click here, and I have shadow. So you can use the knife tool as well, just be careful because it will knife anything that you have selected. So if I go down here and try this one more time, let's experiment. Click this kind of pelvis area of my robot, take the knife, and let's say I want to make a shadow up above, and then I want it to kind of come down and end up over here. So I've sliced through that, and now I can select this, click off of it, select that new shape that I have, and add a shadow value right there, and I have created a shadow. Keep in mind the knife tool, like the Shape Builder, it is actually separating those pieces out, so you will now have two separate pieces that you've made with the knife tool. So two different ways to add a little bit of shadow and highlight. You can use the Shape Builder to duplicate your shape, move it, select both pieces, click on the new one, and change the color, or you can use the knife tool where you can slice things up, select the shape that you want to slice, and then use your color guide to help you get darker and lighter values of those same colors. So great way to go ahead and add some shadow and highlight to your robot.